welcome to our DC Bloggers March Meetup. We are excited to have you all here today. My name is Christian Spraggins, and I am one of the DC Bloggers volunteers. You can find me on Instagram at _IamSimplyK, and I'll be providing the instructions for today's event. Woo! All right, by a show of hands, how many people are new here today? Good, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you, and welcome back to our returning members. For those who are new and want to know more about us, we are the DC chapter of the Blogger Union. The Blogger Union is a supportive community of bloggers dedicated to growing with one another. We do this by having monthly meetups to learn about the blogging industry and to connect. The Blogger Union has over 10 chapters across the United States, and it's free to become a member on thebloggerunion.com. We are so excited to also announce that we finally hit 10,000 followers on Instagram and have over 2,000 official members of the DC chapter. If you are looking to connect with one another, we have a private Facebook group called DC Blogger Meetup, where you can share your latest blog posts and YouTube videos and look for people to shoot with. You name it, so make sure you go and add their Facebook page. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Feel free to request to join and introduce yourself. I've also got a few vendors and partners that I would like to introduce and thank them who have made today's event possible. For today's event, please use the following handles and hashtags when covering on social media for a chance to be featured: at the DC Bloggers, at HighLowLuxxe, and at Fangirl Outlets National Harbor. Today's event will be captured by 2 photographers. Behind the camera, we have Roberta with Pink Waffle Photography, and we have Kathleen with Kathleen Marie Photo. Make sure you thank them today and ask them to have your photos taken. We will be sending them out about 2 weeks after this event. Also, we are lucky to have our resident videographer here today, Ernie from Out of Time Productions. Thank you.
I got a clap, she didn't?
Clap for everybody. Clap for everybody. Yes. Okay. They also offer packages for bloggers, so be sure to network today, and now is your chance. Today, we have Teresa Kelly from Teresa Kelly Art on Instagram, who you can sign up with to get a live fashion sketch today. She will be selling her prints during today's event, and all she needs is a photo of you. So be sure to check her out. They are very cool and the perfect blogger accessory. Also with us today is our resident photo booth and wall backdrop extraordinaire, Abraham from IOB Photo Booth. Please stop by the booth before you leave. He's been with us since the beginning. He has an awesome virtual booth with the in-person booth as well, where you can see all the photos and videos we took from today's event. If you're planning an event, we highly recommend him. Abraham, if you could come up and say a few words.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Well, my name is Ibrahim. I am the owner of IOB Photo Booth, located here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And we're always happy to be working with DC bloggers here at Fangirl Outlets. So today we have a virtual hybrid booth where you can take photos in person. You can also take photos right from your phone from anywhere. And the power of this is, as you're taking photos right now, you can also be taking photos in your seat. Videos, and you can actually switch with your camera you're using. So you don't always have to use the selfie. You can actually be creative and get videos while you're speaking, find creative ways to bring other brands in, and just have fun. So once again, my name is Ibrahim. Hope you have some fun, get a lot of information. It's a great event. Thank you.
So be sure to visit the IOB Photo Booth to snap some fabulous photos throughout this event. Moving on, a special thanks to our venue for hosting us today, Fangirl Outlets here at National Harbor. They were gracious to find a large space for us all to gather, got some goodies for us to snack on back there, as well as they will be providing some gift card giveaways at the end of the presentation and goodie bags for first come, first serve. And they have a few sales and promos coming up that they would love for you to share with your followers. Carrie, the marketing director, if you can please come on up and tell us a little bit more about what is happening here at Tanger Outlets.
Woo! Hi everyone! Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. Carly and I started planning this a while back. Just like, first of all, I hope we can have it in person, and so it's really great to finally see everyone in person and welcome you all here. So first off, y'all can see this was a blank space. This was an empty suite. This is going to be St. John come this summer. So we're really, really excited. Y'all are some of the first people to know that. We're really excited to have a new retailer in here. You're going to see in your goodie bags, we've got a couple things for you. I hope you enjoy from some of our retailer partners. And a very, very big thanks to Kate Spade. They did the bags for us. They're doing a raffle later. These ladies in the back, please hold up your hands, say hello. So go shop there. Come shop at all of our stores. There are some special coupons actually for today, and then some others for next week. So you'll see there's a Tanger style sheet in your bag. Those are coupons that are good starting next Thursday. And that is a promo we do every year. It's 15% off, an extra 15% off at special stores, select stores. And if you're Tanger Club member, it's an additional 25% off. Now, how many of you know about Tanger Club? Who's a Tanger Club member already? All right, okay. Join Tanger Club. So we are going to be, you've got a little QR code on those coupons if you want to join the membership that way. Or that table back there where you got your gift bags, we'll have set up to sell the memberships as well. It's a $10 one-time fee. You're a member for life. And the best thing about it, other than just special reward perks throughout the year, is that you can take pictures of your receipts, upload them, and earn rewards at spending levels. So you get big gift cards, you get special gifts on your birthday, and you get our coupon book anytime you shop for free, so which is normally $10. So lots of great opportunities. You can buy it back there again at the end, or you can go to Shopper Services or use the QR code. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much again to Carrie for having us. At the end of today's presentation, our DC Vloggers chapter officer will tell us a little more about future events, and we will also take a group photo. Just a friendly reminder, if you could please turn your volume down on your phones during the presentation. But definitely have your phones out and ready to take notes and to take pictures. I am proud to introduce our speaker today, Jenee Naylor from HighLowLuxxe. Janae, if you could please start off with telling us.
Hey, Queens! Okay, so I'm assuming everyone here wants to be a vlogger, is interested, something like that. So today will be all Q&A, because I want everyone to leave here with hopefully the tools they need, some of the tools they need to help you in your future endeavors. But I'm going to do it by category, just so we have a little structure. So I'll break down the categories. We'll do 10 minutes each. My assistant Maya is here, so she'll keep us on track. And then at the end, it'll be like 10 minutes, just overall questions, any random things that maybe we get ready to. So make sure you have some questions. Let's go through the categories first, and then I'll do like a little introduction for those who don't know me, which you don't mind. So we're gonna start with identity and consistency. So just finding your niche, your identity, who you are as a blogger, your why, all those things. So think of questions for that. And I get a lot of questions around being consistent. So that's in that category. Growing and glowing. So finding the right brands, again, sticking to your why, finding your audience, that kind of stuff. And then monetizing. I'm sure there's lots of questions on how to make money. So that'll be a category. And then the end will just be, again, open-ended questions. So, does that sound good? Yes. Who's got questions already? A few people? Okay. So I'm Janae. I run a blog called HighLowLuxxe. I've been blogging for 4 years. I started in 2018. I made my first blog myself. It was called J. Marie Style View, I think. Because Jenee Marie, that's my name. And then I did my second blog, I think, in 2019. I became a full-time blogger in 2019. I left my career at Target. I was a store director for 8 years. So it was a really big transition. We can get into that if you guys want to know more. And I've been blogging ever since. I started a YouTube channel. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Pinterest, Instagram, all the things. And I just feel so grateful every day that this is my job. So I love doing things like this because I love sharing. That's the whole point of this job. If you like to share authentically, it will never feel like work. So let's get into it. Yeah. So the first category is identity and consistency. Anybody guys? Any questions? And I'm looking for questions around finding your lane, finding your niche, finding your audience, that kind of stuff. Any questions?
How did you find your identity as a blogger?
Honestly, it wasn't even a thought initially. It was just about the natural sharing. So I'm one of those people, if we were walking down the street and you were like, oh, where'd you get your shoes? I'd be like, oh my God, they're from DSW and they were on sale and here's where you can get them and they run small. Like, I always like to do that. So for me, I started my Instagram and I just said like, I'm just gonna see if people care about my outfits, basically. I think that was in 2017. And people would be like, oh, you should start a blog. And I was like, that seems like too much work. I have a whole job. No. But I said to myself, I'll start an Instagram and just start posting my outfits every day. And if I can get it to like 10,000 followers, maybe I'll start a blog. Like that would be my proof of concept. Because in my mind, I'm like, who cares about my outfits? But I started posting every day and just sharing my outfits. And that's kind of how I found my tribe. But again, it's just where you are in your current life also. So like, obviously, my blog name is HighLowLuxxe now. I share high-end things, I share affordable things. But back then, it was all just Lowe's because that's just what I could afford. So every outfit was Target, Forever 21, Zara. And it wasn't about trying to be a certain type of blogger. It was just about sharing what I do every day, sharing what I wear every day. There was no thought in it. It was just like, here's how I show up. Here's the look. Here's why I like it. Here's how I put it together. If it's for you, stick around. If it's not, so that's my biggest tip on finding your niche. It shouldn't be a thought. It shouldn't be a strategy on finding your audience because you should just be showing up because you also don't want to have to force it to keep an audience, right? You don't want to have to think every day, okay, like what do I post now because I've created this fictitious lifestyle and I can't keep up with it. And now it seems exhausting to post and create because you're faking it. So. Any other questions?
What's your recommendation on like platforms? Like, should you go on one platform or should you try and go on like Instagram and then TikTok and then YouTube? And I think for me, like I'm still working a 9 to 5, so just trying to balance it all and making sure that I'm
you can't do it all.
consistent. Yeah. So what's
my recommendation is to start on the platform that you're best at. People always want to go where it's hot. It's TikTok is hot. Oh, YouTube is hot. Oh, you can make money on YouTube. Let me get on YouTube. YouTube is not for everyone. Writing blogs is not for everyone. Are you a great writer? Do you have a great personality and you show up on video? That's where you should start your content creation. For me, I liked taking pictures, and Instagram was just kind of the only thing at the time. So I started on Instagram. But my next thing was YouTube because I think I have a nice personality, and I like video content. That's to me where I come alive, where I can kind of explain myself more, and I just feel like you get to know me more. And that's why I started on YouTube. I have a blog, but it is not my priority. For me, my blog is somewhere where things can live, right? If I want to write about the trip, and I want you to always be able to reference it, it goes on my blog. But I'm not just updating it every week because I'm not a writer. I don't love it like that. I don't have a passion for it. Some people are writers, right? And that's the main source of like where all their content goes, and they cannot show up on YouTube because they just don't come alive like that. They're awkward or it's uncomfortable. Start where you are best. So really figure that out. If you love video but you don't have time to put it to YouTube, go to TikTok, right? You can do 10, 15-second videos every day. Your personality shines, and then you can grow from there. One platform at a time. I say create a routine where you can be consistent on a platform, and then you can move on. So for me, I got Instagram kind of on autopilot. I had my days where I took my pictures. I had a full-time job too, and I worked 50 to 60 hours a week. I was off every Wednesday. I would take my pictures. Back then, I just took like mirror pictures, like in the mirror. So I would do like 7 of those every Wednesday. I just changed my clothes. The house would be a mess, and I just do my pictures. Now I'm done. And then I kind of got that right. I got that down. I got on autopilot. And then I started a YouTube channel. And on the weekends, I would film a YouTube video. We did 1 a week. I started learning how to edit. That took me a whole week though to learn. So I couldn't do 2 videos a week, just 1. And then once I got that down, then I got on TikTok. So once you get something on autopilot, then move on. But you need to be able to execute consistently to grow that platform and then move on. Try to put all your eggs in a basket, it's not gonna work. Because you're just gonna be giving us half asses. Sorry, but you're not gonna be showing up as your best self. And also it takes time to learn and perfect a platform. So for me, I have to go all in. If I'm trying to learn TikTok, I gotta spend my time on TikTok, I gotta research TikTok, I gotta learn the trends, I gotta learn the sounds. That takes time, so I have to be invested in it and then be creating all the time for it. I can't do that for every platform. And even once you get all of those on autopilot, something will always give. Like right now, my YouTube is just one video a week. When I did like Vlogmas, I was doing videos every day, right? So I feel like, okay, I put a lot of effort there during fourth quarter. Right now it's gonna take a back seat because I need to focus on TikTok. My blog, that's taking a back seat too. I post when I have like a new discount code or something I want, again, to live there forever. But right now it's Instagram, it's TikTok. Once I feel like I have TikTok down, then I'll go back to my YouTube and maybe do 2 or 3 videos a week. Something always has to give, and you have to be okay with that. It's a long game. Did that answer it? But I always get that question, and you just can't do everything, and it's not even fun if you try. But if you find the thing you really like to do, I would post YouTube videos no matter what. If it wasn't my job, that's just fun to me. I always enjoy YouTube. Also think about the type of content you like to consume. I don't really spend a lot of time on Instagram. Even though I like Instagram, I don't just scroll. People are always like, did you see my story? No, I didn't. I was watching a YouTube video. I don't look at anybody's stories. So think about what you like to consume, because usually that's where you can like have a lot of ideas, right? Like when I watch YouTube videos, I'm like, oh, I would do that video, but I do like this. Oh, I would use this type of font. I would do it like this. I would do the split screen this way. Like I have all these ideas, so when I create, it's so much easier for me, but it's because I love it regardless. Great question.
Thanks.
Any other questions around this? You were first.
Yes, all right, so this is like a 3-in-1 question.
Oh, man.
It's just like, okay, so when was your first partnership?
Okay.
What brand was it? And was it something hard for you to do when you did it?
Okay, my first ever partnership was Pantene. It was a shampoo and conditioner, the Gold Bottle Gold series. And I think it was 2018. And I was so excited. I did negotiate. I didn't even know what that was. You know, they emailed me and I was like, yes. I'll do it. And I remember we were going on a trip and I was like, ooh, it's gonna be so fancy. I'm gonna shoot it there. Where were we, Mykonos? Yes. And I was like, all right, the pictures were horrible. But we barely knew how to take pictures back then. We were just so excited to do it. And it wasn't hard because I did use the product before I shot it and agreed to the partnership. And it was just shampoo. I mean, everybody uses Pantene. But for me, there was no artistic value to it, and that's the learning lesson of creating content. And why I always tell people, especially friends or just anyone that wants to do this, practice first, because there's a lot of pressure when somebody is paying you. And I feel like I worked myself up so much for that partnership, where I was just like, it has to be perfect, and I feel like we shot it so many times, and I wasn't even happy with the pictures, but obviously we had to turn it in at some point. But that, it's a lot of pressure when somebody is paying you. So if you have something, or even somebody wants to gift you something, practice like you're getting paid, because you will just get used to it. You'll learn the type of content you like to create. You'll learn what resonates with your audience, right? You don't want it to feel like a commercial. You don't want it to look corny. My thing is, I never want it to look corny. I'm just like, nah, that's no. You want it to look cool. Everyone like I'm just living my life. So that's what I learned from that, but I wasn't prepared, right? Because in my mind, I wasn't even trying to get paid. I think at that point I had, pretty sure 20,000 followers on Instagram. But I hadn't even figured out my niche. I was still just posting outfit pictures. There was really no lifestyle, and I don't even think I had taken pictures outside yet. I was too scared to even go outside and take pictures. So it was all just mirror stuff. So that was the first thing, and I wish I had done stuff sooner. So that kind of got me into let's practice this regular everyday life. If someone wants to sell some Tide, I don't know how to do that. What would I do? Then you start practicing. Did that answer it? Thanks. No problem. Yes.
One of your YouTube videos you had mentioned that in the beginning no one really cared about you.
Yes.
And so I wanted to know how you stay within your niche but still make it seem like, because I follow people that I feel like I could be her friend in real life.
Mm-hmm.
How do you blend the two where it doesn't feel like, oh, I don't care that she's posting that, it just shows what you're wearing?
Yeah. I would say it's that in the beginning.
Oh.
So that goes away, but it's when you're starting. Nobody cares about you because no one knows you. Yeah. So usually you're going to show up on my recommended page, right? So if I have my people that I watch, right, because I've followed them for years, I know them, I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday, such putting up a video, and you pop up just when I get on YouTube, it needs to be something of value, or else why would I click on it? I don't know you. Right. So it has to be oh, you just took a trip, and it's the 5 things not to do when you go to that city, or something I'm looking for. Obviously, it's recommended for a reason. YouTube thinks because I would like it, but it needs to be something of value just to get people to click. So that's just my beginning strategy. Every video in my mind should be a how-to, because it's also like I just think of YouTube as Google. It's a search engine. So that's the easiest way for people to find you. And if you happen to land on somebody's, page, like the home page, you'll typically have something to offer. And then after a while, right, the 3 months, 6 months, I've subscribed, you offered me some value, you popped up 3 times, and every time I was like, that could be helpful, and I clicked on your video, so now I subscribe. Now I know you, and I'm like, she's kind of funny. Now I care if you go to the grocery store. Okay, what'd you get from China? Like, now we care. But in the beginning, I feel like people just start and they vlog, and they're just like, hey, here's what I'm doing. I don't care. I don't even know you, lady. Like, what are you doing? And people just think I'm so interesting that the people will come. But they won't. Unless you're, a celebrity or exactly what people are just nosy. That's why they're watching, right? Because they see you on Love Island. Now they're like, ooh, like peek into her life. If you're just regular, you need to offer something. So I think all of my first videos are like, how to wear something this way, how to style this, 5 tips for this. Literally things you can just type into the search on YouTube, how to something. And it obviously makes sense with your life, right? If you like jeans, how to style jeans. Just easy things, makeup things, easy makeup tutorials, how to do your eyebrows. Like those type of videos get hundreds of thousands and millions of views because people are always searching for things to learn. Next category. One more. Yes.
So I was just wondering, as far as like consistency and authenticity.
Oh, well, then we listen to the next one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay. So as us ladies mature in our age and we evolve and things change.
Yes.
So how does that transition, or how has it, for you, if you've experienced that, to where it still feels authentic for you to, grow and still show up? Because like you said, at first you were low, now you're high, right?
I'm high and low.
Well, okay.
But no, I get a lot of comments like this, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think you have to, for me, it's all about finding the right people. If you can't understand the trajectory of my life and that I have goals, and if you don't have goals, we're probably not going to be aligned. So it's probably best that you just don't follow me. Because if you think I'm going to just stay complacent, that's just not going to happen. So that's how I think of it. If someone has a problem with something, I always say like, oh, this probably is not going to be like the page for you. Like, and that's okay. There's no harm, no shade. That you probably need to follow somebody else. There's so many creators in the world, so if I'm not giving you something, you can always get it from someone else and still enjoy my content. But if it makes you feel bad, or you don't like it, or just rubs you the wrong way, then don't stick around. I appreciate it. It was a good time. It was a good run. we're not here anymore, and that's okay. So that's how I look at it. But I get people all the time. They're like, oh, it's everything I can't afford anymore. And I'm like, I have on Zara shoes. I have on Zara. I don't. But if you see one label, it's because I can afford it now. I'm not gonna apologize for giving myself something nice. I shop. And you have to be confident in just saying that. There's no shade. I don't want to be rude about it, but life is hard. So if I can make my life any more enjoyable every single day, that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm not gonna be trying to hide it. Oh, let me not show you this thing, because then somebody will say, this is what it is. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it gives you some ideas, piques your interest, maybe it's something you never heard of. That's always my goal, right? I'm not just trying to like show off and be like, look, I got a cute dress. Don't you wish you had it? No. But like, hey, here's the dress. Here's why I like it. To me, here's why it's worth the price point. Or maybe it's not worth the price point. I'm still going to try to share some value, but I'm not going to not live my best life. It's just not what I'm gonna do. And the older you get, I think people have, I try to also keep that in mind. Like, I'm 37 years old. Like, oh, I'm not gonna live the same life when I was 28. Right. That's just not gonna, that's everyone's goal, right? You get a promotion at work, you make more money, you wanna buy a nicer car, within means, of course, what you can afford. Yes. But that's just a part of life. We're not all trying to live in an apartment we lived in when we were 20. Right. Neither am I. So, if you can't get that, this is not, it's just going up from here. So, you need to get out now. Does that answer?
It does not, and I think you've done like for me, a beautiful job at doing that. Like some people, you experience, the transition because you experience it with them because you follow them.
Right.
But with you, it seems like it's just been so seamless, right? It's just like oh wow, you know, it's just
That's how it is for me. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like the
and
first
it's-
6 months in our house, I was like,
yeah, it's enjoyable to watch because it doesn't feel like you're. It just seems it was just like a seamless like transition.
And I think it's because
Yeah,
I
very
do try to
humble,
also share
seamless, yeah.
how grateful I am for everything that I have. Like, obviously, I work hard, Josh works hard, and I didn't grow up with a lot of things. Not that that should matter, because people should be able to enjoy it even if they did grow up with it. Somebody worked for it. But for me, I think that comes out a little more,
Yeah.
just because a lot of this is so new. So to me, that's also a reason to share it. Like, I literally get ideas of things to do and try because I see somebody else do it. I'm like, oh, I'd like a watch like that. I didn't know I could afford a watch like that. And they told me the price. I can't afford a watch because I was too afraid to go in the store. Like, that's how a lot of things we do. There's so many stores I never used to even go in. So I'm like, I don't even want to be made fun of. And I'm like, I could have been shopping there. That's only $200. But in my mind, I was like, that's for rich people. I can't go in there. Okay, next question. I forgot what category. Yes.
So, in a world full of influencers and content creators, how do you maintain staying different from the rest? Do you have any tips on how to keep your content new and fresh while still authentically being yourself?
Yes, that's my favorite thing because I'm very proactive in being innovative and just being me. I want when people work with me, I don't want you to be able to get what I have anywhere else. So a few things I do, I know I talked about being on YouTube a lot, but I don't absorb a lot of content because in my mind, I just want to stay creative. Like on Instagram, I follow a lot of artists, photographers. I want to see creative things, but I don't want to see people doing what I do because you're subconscious, right? You're just like, you think you came up with the idea, but really you saw somewhere else. It's not your idea. So I do things like that. I try not to, even on YouTube, I try not to watch other vloggers, people that do the same job I do. Because again, if I'm working with a brand and I know it needs to be a fashion video, I want to think of that concept on my own. I don't want to be like, oh, I saw such and such, I'll just do that thing. Obviously, none of us are reinventing the wheel, but I want to challenge myself, have my own fresh ideas. And especially on YouTube, and I think also figuring out your value proposition. For me, I've decided just in this year, like what I want to bring to YouTube. For me, I want to show up as like your favorite news anchor. Which means like, right, you turn on the news and you love this girl, whoever she is, right? You love her, she's funny, she gives you your info, you go on about your day. You don't need to know what she had for breakfast that morning. You don't need to know, like I don't really vlog much anymore unless it's like a trip and I'm showing something of value. But I want to come on and give you the spring trends. I want to come on and right, you can sit down and we can have a chat and you get the info you need and you still enjoy me, but I need to have something for me, which is why I stopped vlogging. So, and then that makes me more creative when I do create those type of fashion videos, because in my mind I'm like, this is a show. That's how I'm in my mind setting it up. This is a show. How can I make it the best show they watch this week? It's only 15 to 20 minutes, but I want to put all the bells and whistles in so it's a lot of value. So I think finding your value proposition and then not getting sucked into like following everybody. I just highly recommend you don't do that. Like if you need to unfollow people, do that. I feel like I probably follow like 5 people, and there's even sometimes where I have to just like mute people because I'm like, I want to support you, but I can't be inundated with people doing the same things as me. I have a perfume ad coming up. I don't want to see 20 perfume ads. I need to think of my own, and I want to offer something that nobody else is doing. But you can't do that when you just see over and over again on your feed the same thing. Did I answer your question? Sorry, I have a short memory, so I think no problem. Okay, growing and glowing. Any other questions? You raise your hand first, then you next.
Okay, how do I phrase this? When I'm like small still and I'm trying to grow and as it grows, I feel like my engagement is kind of growing. So how do you keep up with the following increase in engagement season? More people that are kind of hanging on and not really.
So you feel like your followers are growing, but your engagement isn't?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what platform?
Instagram.
I think it's because Instagram is old, because I see that on YouTube too. And I think it's just because they're both older platforms and a lot of those people just aren't on there anymore. So it is about getting with people because that's obviously the only way to grow. But I think offering value again. I would say making savable, shareable content because that's how you'll get those people to pass it on. But that's engagement too. It's all about like tricking the algorithm, basically. So I feel like shareable, savable content, and then also using all of the bells and whistles. It's so annoying on Instagram, But it is night and day when I do those things and don't do those things. A good example, all of December, I didn't grow at all on Instagram. I was at 232. I remember it very vividly. all month. You know, you could see the growth, but you lose and you gain. And all month. It was 232. But I also wasn't doing anything. I was doing vlogs. Child, I was finished. I had nothing left. So any picture that went up, it was a random picture, or maybe a reel. But there was no strategy in it. And then the beginning of the year, I was like, all right, let me get back on my reels. Let me get 3 a week. And then again, looking at the Explore page, seeing the songs that trend, all those things. I started going live every Monday, all those things. I think I'm at 270 something now. Literally in what's that, 3 months? I've gained like 40,000 followers. But that's from doing all the things. You have to put in, I know it sucks, but you have to put in a lot of work on Instagram, but you see those fruits and they last. So like, you'll be doing it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then the next 2 or 3 weeks you'll see it. So it may not feel like it, like in that little duration, but then like literally I'll take a break and I'll be like, okay, I'm on TikTok now, but I'll see it, like everything will ramp up for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then it'll slow down again when I start. It literally is just like, give me something. She's not giving you anything unless you give her something. And I think the same thing on YouTube. It's just people have been there so long. A lot of people don't, have new emails. They just don't log into that account anymore. There's people with hundreds of thousands of followers that get the same views I get because there's just not, those people aren't there anymore. So you gotta literally always be looking for new people. That answer? I'm gonna keep saying that every time. Okay. Yes.
So I know you work very hard and you're on all platforms.
Oh, stop.
But what are some routines you have to kind of like ground yourself and stay true? I know you have some things that you do to stay authentic when it comes to these platforms. But what are some personal things that you do to kind of stay grounded?
Oh God, really good. Like work-life balance? None. Honestly, I would say it's creating the things that make me happy. And I feel like that is another shift, which is kind of why I came up with that YouTube strategy this year. Like, how can I make all of these things enjoyable? Because it all melts together. This is work, but it's life. It's where I wear every day, so that's my life, and I'm showing it as my work. So how can I make these things just more enjoyable? And for me, it's like being thoughtful with what I create and have the capacity to create. For me, my TikTok strategy now, if you follow me on TikTok, I just do these, what I wore today, get ready with me today. I do a voiceover, so I don't have to think about it in the moment. Like, how can I make this palatable for me, where I don't have to overexert myself, but I'm doing this thing anyway. And then when I'm in the mood, I can go back and do the voiceover and, kiki and like, yeah, I'm getting dressed, here's where I'm going, blah, blah, blah. But if it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I keep the tripod there, and I just put my camera in, I'm like, all right, let's go. All right, record, here we go. And I just walk off the room. Same thing with YouTube. How do I it's fun for me. The YouTube videos I'm putting out now, I love those. I do the research on them, but it's stuff that I want to know, so it doesn't feel like work. And same thing with Instagram, being thoughtful with how we even create content. So like a good example, we went to New York 2 days ago. How do we get the most bang for our buck but still live our life? So it was like, okay, let's get dressed, go walk around, take a picture. Then we're gonna go to breakfast and just chill, normal people. Then I'll change again. Then we'll go shopping. And then while we're out, hey, here's a cute place. Let's take a picture real quick. Then I'll go back and change. And that's what we did all day. We had things to do, so it felt like a vacation, but then it was like, let me just change. And we just take the camera with us instead of like, all right, let's put 5 outfits in a bag and go. I can't do that all the time because it just sucks the fun out of the day. I'm anxious about it. And I'm like, I want the perfect picture. When we're out and about, I'm just like, you know what, that's good enough. It's fine. Nope, especially if it's just art content. No one's paying for this. It's going on Instagram. The outfit's cute, they can see it. So I think thinking about how you can make all of these things integrate into your life and make them as enjoyable as possible. Because when you start, you just want to be the best. You want to grow, you want to be good. And it's like kind of once you get, kind of like when you know how to, I guess, operate on all different platforms, right? Like I kind of got a routine around everything. Then how do I just live and make it enjoyable every day and not, because then you wear yourself out. And I do that, it ebbs and flows. I'd be like, I'm on fire and I'm doing all the things. And then the next week I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I'm just gonna stay in bed because I'm exhausted. I've expended myself, so. That answer your question? Yes, and then you next after her.
I guess, how do you manage your private life as you grow? And like, do you ever, and I think this is not limited to creators, I feel like a lot of people are just like sick of the internet sometimes and just want to shut it all off. Like, have you ever experienced this feeling?
Yep. Being learning thing. As you go, things that make me uncomfortable, I stop doing them. And that's just how it is. You have to, especially on YouTube. And TikTok is kind of getting like that too. But I just show what I'm comfortable with. I show what I don't mind people picking apart. You can tell me this is the worst outfit you've ever seen in your life. I'm still gonna wear it, it's fine. But if you tell me you hate my mother's hair, or Josh's shoes look stupid, now I'm ready to fight. I'm like, what did Josh do to you? So, no more Josh for you, no more mom for you, no more family. Like, I used to share everything. And just, as you grow and, build a following and get those comments, things that trigger me, you're not doing that anymore. And that's just how I operate. And then, I hate to do that sometimes because it's like there are people that are here for the right reasons. And I do want to share this trip or whatever that thing is. So then sometimes I'll do it. But for the most part, that's how I figure out the type of content I'm going to create. If it makes me uncomfortable, no more of that. No more couples night for you. No more of that. Or I'll share it on specific platforms where I feel like there's a safer space. For me, Instagram is a safer space just because you have usernames there. It's usually connected to Facebook. Like, people just show up a little more normal. But YouTube, literally, I treat YouTube now like it's just a talk show. I'm coming on. Good morning. You got your coffee? Here's what we're talking about today. All right, see you next time. And that's what I'm comfortable with, and people seem to still enjoy it. So it's a learning process because it's almost like you have to do the thing to realize you don't like the feedback. Like, okay, we're not gonna do that anymore. Right. Or you're picking it apart, like, Josh looks miserable. He's eating. I don't know what you want him to do. To answer it, but it's a learning lesson. Or you can just start with not showing anything and then just, add in a little bit. Go ahead. Do you have one? Yes.
So as you were growing, what helped you remain organized? Because we all hear you need to be consistent and you need to post every day and you need to do that. But what tips or strategies do you have to help us remain consistent? Because I get tired of back shooting every Saturday. I want to do stuff with my kid. I want to hang out with my husband. And I think my husband is sick and tired of doing behind the scenes. I make him pay my own phone just to do my videos. So how do you remain organized and able to do all this stuff and still enjoy your life?
Routines. And I'm going to give everybody a little tough love because it's a sacrifice. It's not forever, and you have to see the long-term plan, the long-term goal. I mean, when I worked at Target, doing this was so hard. And I mean, a lot of people have hard jobs, but I always tell people, if you work at Target, you work anywhere. I can do everything because I worked hard. Like, mentally, physically, I had 350 team members at my store. I worked a minimum 50 hours a week. And I showed up every single day on Instagram. I showed up every single week on YouTube. When I started my blog, I wrote blog posts at night after I got off work. And that's just what I had to do. But routines. So then you can at least schedule your life, right? So I did stuff on Wednesdays. Josh was at work. And I would be done by the time he got off work. It's the weekends. I'm not taking up your whole weekend to do whatever husband is doing, right? We're going to do it Sunday. And then you have to be committed to it. And I think show, like, your commitment and the goal. Right, I remember asking Josh, like, hey, I think this could be a job. Like, if you could just take my pictures every weekend, I think this could be a job one day. And he was like, and we both sucked. Like, it wasn't fun. I couldn't pose, he couldn't take a picture. And I was like, listen, I promise you, I need you to stick with me and trust that I think this could be something. And we did it, but it was like, okay, we're just going to do it Sundays from this time to this time. If we don't get it in there, we try again next week. We're not going to exhaust this all day because then it's just not fun. And now we're arguing. I'm like, I look cuter than that. What are you doing? But routines. This is the day I do this. And then you can, like, also share with your friends and family. This is the thing I'm trying to do. This is the goal. Here's the big picture. Tuesday afternoons, I always do X, Y, and Z. That's just what it is. Don't call me after nothing. Because it's Tuesday afternoon, that's what I do. Like, I used to always tell people, I can't talk. I can't talk right now. This is all the time I have. I have to do this thing, but it won't be forever. So you have to keep that top of mind. Stick to the routine. It's the only way if you have a job to be successful doing this. But I say, my also thought was like, I don't have time to waste. I'm not 20, I don't live in my mom's basement. I got real grown-up bills. I'm trying to leave a job and do this thing. I don't have any time to waste. So I researched everything. If I'm spending time making a YouTube video, I need it to pop. I need it to hit. I need people to watch it. I don't have time for 20 views for 6 months. I need it to get out there because I'm trying to make this my job. So like, what kind of video do I need to do? What's most popular right now? What's the best thumbnail? How do I edit? What sound effects should I use? Research all those things, and then when you put your time into it, it's worthwhile. Back there, there.
So in alignment with kind of planning, how far in advance do you set up your schedule? Like when you think of an idea, do you write it down and be like, I'm gonna schedule that next Wednesday? Or like, how do you set a schedule for advanced production?
It depends on the content, and I would say this depends on your personality. So for me, I am a creative person and I have to be in the mood. So I always have a weekly schedule, right? These Tuesdays I do YouTube videos, Fridays I do X, Y, and Z. But if I wake up and I'm just not in the mood, I can't fake YouTube. I can't, it's just, you know, it's like, I always tell people I gotta get it up. Like, to be on YouTube, it's like you gotta be full of energy, a ball of energy. It's like you gotta talk to a room full of people and it's just you. So if that's not happening that day, we'll just move it, right? I gotta be flexible with myself. And then maybe that day I just do TikToks where I can do a voiceover, and that makes sense. If it's something I've been leaning into more, trying to do something in the moment, if I can. Especially on TikTok, because that's just what that app likes. So if it's something that I see and I'm inspired or I get an idea, I just try to do it right then. Even if I don't post it then, just to like save it. If I'm in the mood or it inspired me at that point, just do it just then.
Okay. Because I hear a lot of people say, schedule your content, you have a whole year's
It
worth of
depends.
content.
I would say it really depends on you. Because other things, I get over my content really quickly. So like, even if we take pictures and like I don't post it for a week or two, after that like second week, I'm like, I don't even like the outfit anymore. Like, I can't wait that long. I'll usually be like the picture, we just take pictures every day. But yeah, something, or it just doesn't make sense anymore. Now it's a warm day and I'm gotta put it on. So I don't do too far in advance. So, like, I'm a planner, but I'm also not a far out planner. Just in life in general. I'm like, vacation next month. I'm not planning next year. I don't know what I'm doing next year. That's true. So yeah, it depends on how you are. But some people, if you have a really hectic life and a lot of things going on, that's what you may have to do in the short term. And then when you have a moment, then you can still create, you know, in the moment. But then at least you have that. So I consider that such as backup. Just in case all else fails, you don't get lost in the algorithm. That's something. Who's next? Yes.
I have a boring question.
A boring question?
Yeah, we're all creative, so
yes.
How do you manage like your bookkeeping in the business? I know, that's why I said it's a boring question. Like, do you have an accountant? How do you manage invoicing? Like logistics?
Okay, so I have an agency, and it's really honestly been a lifesaver because they pay me, right? If I do a campaign, the money goes to them, they pay me. At the end of the year, they send me a $10.99, yeah. And then I take that to our account, and he does everything. Before that, I used QuickBooks, and I just do it by month. I'm not good at it, and I didn't like it. So for me, that's another just business thing, especially being a creative. I don't like paperwork. I didn't like it when I was at Target. I want to be out on the floor, I'm with the team, I have to sit down and do something, reviews, expenses, the credit card we used to have. I'm always the last one. It's the end of the month. I'm just like, I don't remember where I ate. I don't know. So I would like to outsource that. I would rather pay somebody to do that for me. Like there's things like I'll never outsource editing videos because I love that. That's creative to me. But admin, invoices, I'll never get paid because I'm never going to do it. So somebody else needs to do that. So I say whatever you're most passionate about. If you're a creative person and you don't like admin, find some type of resource. QuickBooks is helpful, but you still have to stay on top of it. So I used to do that like every month. And I fall off and it's rough. So if you can find someone, even a bookkeeper, that's a good option, just to have somebody every month that can do it for you at the end of the month. Yeah, not a fun answer either, sorry. Yes.
So did you have an exit plan for leaving the corporate world to full-time content creation? And at what point did you know in your career that, okay, I can do this full-time?
Well, I can't get into the whole story because it's long, but I have a blog post on it, HighLowLuxxe.com. But basically, I kind of did. So it was getting to, I left my job in 2019 in May, but around 2018, I was interviewing for a promotion. And it was going through fourth quarter, and it was, if you work retail ever, you know it's a terrible time. And I was going through this interview process where it was like out of state. I would have to jump through a lot of hoops basically. I got the promotion, and I was going to be in charge of 75 stores doing their visual merchandising. So it was like everybody was like, "This is a perfect job for you. It's perfect." And then I got a visit right after Black Friday, and my store wasn't looking that great, and they took the promotion away. They were like, "You're not ready to leave this store." After months and months, and after all my peers knew I got the promotion. It was like, "Oh yeah, Janae's leaving," and then it was like, "Oh no, she's not." So then I was just like, I was always really good at my job. Like I was always the best. People came to train with me. Like I was that great. Like, and I would always tell people, I'm going to be the CEO of Target. Like, what's the goal? CEO. There's no limits, because I just was that good. So it was just becoming where I couldn't do both really well. I was doing the blogging thing, I was doing the YouTube, and I couldn't juggle both anymore. So in my mind, I was like, let me just start saving, just in case, because I knew I wanted to do this thing. But then it just got so tumultuous with my boss at the time. Obviously, after I lost that promotion, I was just like, what are you doing? But he was a new boss. It was a lot of things, and I just felt like it was all signs. Like I had always been great at this job. Every promotion I had ever gotten, I always, every promotion I ever wanted, I always got. Any role I wanted, I always got. It was always easy. And I felt like the whole year I was trying to do this other thing. It was just thing after thing. Little things, like small things. And then I met Dana Bolden. Do you guys know her? Yes. And I went to her, this was around the same time when I was interviewing for this job. I went to her, she had a women's event, and we had to like write down our goals and what was keeping us from our goals. And I wrote down, I'm bad with money. So in my mind, I could never be an entrepreneur because I need to count on a check. I need a company that I know is gonna pay me. And then, they kept having several speakers, and I was just like, so is that the only reason? Like, I'm not gonna go after this dream because I can't manage my money? That seems dumb. Like, that's not a very good reason. So after that, I was literally like, what do I need to do? I paid off all my debt. Like, literally every piece of money I got, because I was doing campaigns at the time too, went right to debt, and then I just started saving all the money I could save. And then there was one day, I was at work, and I was just like, my boss was coming to walk the store, and I was just like, I don't even think I can make it today. Like, I don't think I could be here another day in this man's face, because I didn't work with my boss. I would see him like once a month. And I was just like, I don't think I can even walk around this door and smile on his face. Like, I just don't want to do it. And I remember talking to Dana at that event, and she said she had a similar moment where she was just like, went in the bathroom and cried and called her husband and was just like, I can't do it. And that's how I felt. I was just like, I cannot do it. I can't do it another day. I called Josh. I was like, I think I'm going to quit. Like, even if I don't quit today, I think I'm going to tell him I'm wrapping it up. Like, you need to start looking for somebody else. And he was like, I don't remember what you said, but it was enough. I was like, I'm just letting you know. I mean, do you think I'm crazy? At that point, I was making money from this, but not a lot. I wasn't even keeping track of it because it was just extra money. So I was just paying off stuff, putting it where I needed it. But at least I had a proof of concept that it was possible. And when he came in, I was like, before I walk the store, I didn't talk to you. And I was like, and it was so weird because our relationship was so hostile at that point that I could tell he was relieved. Like, he was trying to, be like, oh, really? What? And I was like, yeah, I think after such and such date, because I was waiting on my bonus still too, so I was like, after that date, I'm going to be leaving. He's like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, where are you going? I was like, I'm working for myself. Like, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and that's what it is. In my mind, I was like, I'll get a part-time job. I can't just do this. But then I was like, let's just try it. You got to believe in yourself. If I can work this hard for Target, I can work this hard for me. And here we are. So there was a plan, and there wasn't a plan. But I feel like I was being put in situations where I was so uncomfortable with what, because I would stay at Target forever. I always tell people that. Like, in my mind, that was, I made really good money. I loved the job. I loved my team. And I was good at it. So I feel like there were so many obstacles that started to get in my way where it's just like, what is going on? It's not the plan. Why is everybody like coming for me? But it was necessary to make me uncomfortable, to make me think of other paths that made me possible. Who's next?
Thank you. First, for my question, I have the Fangirl so proud of you. I have been following you since the Mirror Days and seeing
Yes.
your growth has
Long
been
time, girl.
such an aspiration. Thank you. And I'm the weirdo who like messaged you about translating your blog to French.
Oh, yes,
You went to Paris. But going back a few questions, at what point do you draw the line where allowing others to dictate what you post? You mentioned how certain things, trigger you so you won't post it again. And how do you keep that balance? Because someone is always going to have something to say. I've received messages, people telling me they're tired of seeing me make cappuccinos. Oh, well, my blog is cappuccinos and consignment, so I don't So it's like, if I listen to all the things people tell me,
You would make it
still trigger.
Yeah.
Every time I get these messages, but if I stop doing, I just have to shut down everything. So at what point do you draw the line? That really hurt, but no.
It has to be what I'm passionate about.
Okay.
Again, so that if I'm passionate about the content, I don't care who has a problem with it. Within reason, of course. But this is the work, right? This is the blog. This is the namesake. That's what we do here. And again, friendly message. Hey, this probably is the blog for you. Every morning people love when I do X, Y, and Z, so I'm gonna keep doing that. And that's okay. That's probably you probably will like this page. Are you new here? I'll usually say that. You must be new. I'm sorry. I don't know where our wires got crossed, but you probably don't like it here. It's gonna happen every day. That's the point, right? You probably don't. But yeah, so I take away things that in my mind are extras, right? Like showing my whatever it is, routine at home or something very personal to me is an extra. That's not a part of my brain. It's not necessary for you to get the info I'm trying to share, but it's an extra thing. So if you make me uncomfortable with that extra thing, then I'm taking it away. But if I feel like it's something of value that I'm adding and that's my goal and that's my purpose for, my pillars in my brand, that's just gonna keep on going. So I feel like that's where you draw the line. How passionate are you about sharing that thing?
Very.
And is it necessary to your brand? Next one, we're behind. Okay, last one. And then we're going to move on to monetization. Yes.
Get a little deep for a second.
All right, come on with it.
So on the topic of growing and flowing,
yes.
Have you ever lost any friends or people close to you?
Oh wow. You're gonna lose them.
And how did you handle it? Or any advice on navigating it? Because I know that not everyone is going to grow with you or go on journeys with you. But I still feel like sometimes it could be a bit much after you fully step into who you are as a creator.
Honestly, I'm not going to have a super helpful answer to this, but I get asked this a lot, and I've never experienced that, but I also don't have a ton of friends. I never have. I always tell people I have 5 friends, and they just they make me feel like I should do anything. And they're my biggest supporters. So honestly, in my mind, I can't even comprehend what that's like to have someone. I'm sure I had friends like that when I was younger. That, your mom always be like, that ain't your friend. I have friends like that. But those people aren't in my life anymore. But anybody that is not excited for me to be my best self, you have to go. So I think I got rid of those people a long time ago. Because I need to be supported, because I'm going to support you. I'm going to show up for wherever you do. I need you to do the same for me. I don't want to feel like I can't tell you something or share something with you. My friends, they're just crazy. But then again, there's only 5 of them. And they're friends I've had, I have, a best friend from Target, and we stayed friends, our best friends since I was 6th grade. My friends are happier for me than I am for me, right? They'll be like, no, we need to talk about the thing, X, Y, and Z that you did. I'm like, oh, I forgot. That's so long ago. I forgot about that. No, we need to go celebrate that. That's an accomplishment. They gotta go. Because that cannot be the focus when you're trying to do this thing. This, it's such we're so lucky. I always tell people, I wish this was around when I was 18, when I was 19. I had so many ideas in my head and I had no way to get it out. I didn't even know what the options were. And now it's you can create whatever life you want. And if you don't want that for me, I want the best for all of my friends. I want them to live their best life. I want them to be as happy as possible. I want them to have the best love life, the best relationship, find the best home. That has to be reciprocal. I can't even question it because I don't have time to question it. You have to be okay with letting people go. So that's the other thing. am Sagittarius. I don't know if that has something to do with it. But I don't hold on to things. So I know a lot of people have problems with that. So you gotta get over that. But I'm like, and again, it doesn't have to be hard feelings.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I only have limited amount of time. So I want to make sure I'm spending it with the right people. And that's what it is. So if I feel like, you know what, when we hang out, it's not positive, it's not productive, I'm not excited, right? I don't leave feeling filled up. I have 3 other friends. I'm trying to make room for them. Like, I haven't talked to this person in a month. Like, I can't use that time, that precious time that I have on somebody who drains me and makes me feel inadequate, or it's just not filling me up or supporting me. But again, I get that back. So, you have to be okay with that. Okay, what's the next one? Monetization.
Yes.
Any questions on money? How to make money, how to get brands, how to...
Yes, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
So you said that Pantene was your first big campaign.
Yes.
So to put things in perspective, how long were you blogging before you got your first?
A year.
A year? Okay, and they pitched to you or did you
Yes.
pitch to them?
I don't know how they found me. I started like posting on my Instagram in 2017. Just like, let me see if I can get 10,000 followers before I make a blog. And then they reached out to me the summer of 2018. So at that point, yeah, I had, I think, 20,000 followers, but they just emailed me. I was like, oh my God, I made it. And then it wasn't even consistent after that, you know, but it was just like kind of like sporadic. I wasn't really on any platforms. I didn't have a manager or anything, so just it would be random people that reached out to me. Did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I was going to ask how they pitched to you. You pitched to them. How do you feel about pitching versus you them contacting you?
I think pitching is necessary, especially if you have a lot of value to offer. And I mean by like more than just followers. Some people are really great at photography. Some people are really great at storytelling. You have to open people's eyes to that and show them what you're capable of, which is also where the practice comes in. I always tell people when brands show up, have the proof there. So I don't want to have to go back and forth, right? I want you to come to my page and you email me an offer and I can counter and say like, the proof's in the pudding. I charge this much and this is why. Not you gotta sell them, right? Like, oh no, I have really great engagement and it should all be there. You should see the type of storytelling I do, you should see the type of pictures I can create, the type of reels I do, and the engagement. It should all be there. I can send you analytics, but you shouldn't have to sell them that much because it should all be there. But right, if you've never done any content like this and then you're trying to haggle with me, I'm like, we don't even know if you can do this job, really. I'm already taking a chance on you, so show up. But I think pitching is important. I didn't pitch, again, because in my mind, I felt like I wasn't there yet. Like when Pantene reached out to me, I was like, ooh, I wasn't really ready to work with people yet. I wasn't even thinking about that. And then I started getting on like different platforms, Collectively, Waylar, things like that, and that helps too. If you don't like pitching, being on those platforms, just Google, blogger platforms or content creator platforms. Being on those just put you in front of people. Reward style, they do things. If you're on YouTube, magic links, you can get brand deals through all of those things, and it's a lot easier than having to pitch. You can just keep those updated. Also, if you're on reward style, I would email them too, because that helps. I didn't used to get any campaigns through there, and they have like a person you can contact or connect with, and you can just kind of introduce yourself. It's just a person, and I feel like they work with the same people over and over again, because they don't know you. So if you say like, hey, I've been on here for X, Y, and Z, these are my favorite brands, just want to introduce myself, let me know if you have anything coming up that might work for me or be a good fit. Then usually they'll be like, oh, literally you're just popping up like, oh, didn't know you existed, okay, I'll keep you in mind. So, but no tips on pitching because I never really did it, and I hated negotiating. That was the first thing, that's why I was like, I need a manager because I don't want to do this. It made me so anxious. I would be stressed all day, and I'd be like, oh my God, was that too much? Did I say too much? Now I can't even make a video because I'm stressed. But I'm waiting for them to email me back. I'm like, let me go back. I should say lower. That was too much. So. Any other questions on money?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Good.
First of all, I just want to say I'm fangirling as well.
Yes.
I'm the store leader here for the Kate Spade.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and when I saw that you were coming, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So,
thank you for being here.
Yes, so I've followed you for a very long time, so it's just really good to be here. My question to you is, when determining the brands that you are going to partner with, so for instance, Kate Spade, our values are joy colors life and women's empowerment.
Is that something that you really, is it more so the brand and the product, or do you really look into the brand's values? Like, how do you determine the brands that you are willing to work with?
Both. And I always tell people I can't think a thing. I think that's another Sagittarius thing. It was all over my face. If I don't like something, I definitely can't show up on YouTube and talk about it. But even creating the content and a caption. Like, I create my captions in real time. I'm like, whatever I'm thinking is what the caption is. I can't pre-plan that either. We just have like captions. Just pick one. Now, I don't know how I feel that day. I can't do that. So for me, it has to be something that makes sense for me. Either I already use it or I think it's going to be of value. That's it. If it's none of those things, if I have to think about it too hard, if it doesn't make sense, I'm not doing it. I say no probably 60, 70% of the time. Because also for me, that was never one of my priorities. I never want to be a salesperson. I don't like selling. I like sharing. Yeah. If you happen to buy it, great. I'm just sharing a green dress. You can get any green dress. But wear with some snakeskin boots. That's the goal here. Yeah. Not like buy this green dress because it's the only green dress you can ever get. I don't really care what green dress you get. And that's how I think of partnerships. Again, if it's something I already use, then great, that totally makes sense, right? But obviously there's thousands of products in the world. There's always new products. So then is it something that's going to add value to you? There's a lot of things that I try and I'm like, oh, I love this and I never heard of it. I want to share. There's a lot of things I try and I'm like, no. I've gotten things and then we're going to have to turn this down. I'm embarrassed. There's no way I'm going to share it. So and it's just a natural, organic feeling. I'm not going to force anything because for me it's also seeing the big picture. I need you all. We're going other places. We're not going to be on Instagram forever. So when I do that other thing, I still need you to trust me. So, and I'd rather that be, right? I mean, if you look on my Instagram, I probably have 2 sponsored posts in the last 2 months. I just spread it out where it makes sense and if I like it. I'll do one thing on YouTube, one thing on TikTok, maybe a blog post, and then I also create content for brands to just have. And that to me is also a great moneymaker. But that takes a really high level of quality, but for me that's a goal too because I like content. But I don't want to always sell something. But sometimes I just want to make the cute video. Be like, here's some lipstick. Yeah. So, yeah, it has to make sense. It has to be easy. If I'll get a brief, and if I have to think about it too hard, I'm like, no. You can just take, I don't see how this works. Or I just don't do content like this, right? There's some things, people are trying to get on TikTok, and they're like, oh, can you do it like this? And I don't do stuff like that. I'm not 20. No. I'm not doing a dance. I don't want to do that. And that's somebody will, but that doesn't make sense for me. And that is, again, I can't be funny. I cannot, because then it's just like, well, you looking at me like I'm crazy. And when you looking at me, I'm looking at you, we both know I look crazy. I don't want to do that. Because again, there's a big picture, right? Hopefully I'll have my own thing one day. I don't want you to question anything that I share. So I feel like, and that's why even on YouTube, I didn't monetize my YouTube channel for probably 6 months, even though I could have. Because in my mind, I'm like, I just want you to show up and give value and trust me. I don't need to be selling anything with 5,000 subscribers. I didn't turn ads on, nothing. I just want you to want to be here. I don't want anything to deter you from being here. Being like, let me click off this second ad or oh, something is sponsored. I know, but I also am a consumer. I watch YouTube videos. I know how that is. So I just want it. I want you to enjoy it. And even now, I would do more than 2 ads in a video. Because the goal isn't to make money on every single thing. I was doing HelloFresh in my stories. People were like, this needs to be an ad, this needs to be an ad. No, because I'm having fun. And it's just fun. Everything can't be a money grab. Sometimes it's just, the point is sharing, right? The point is that I'm trying to get into cooking, we want to do something fun together, and I want to connect with you. The job's done. That's what we're here for. I don't want to set up a tripod, get a cooking shop. I'm not Martha Stewart. I don't want to do that. And then reach out to me like, oh, we can do a YouTube video. No, because I can set my little phone up. We're cooking, taste test, see you later. A YouTube video? No, I don't want to do that. I got to get all the overhead shots. And, there's a whole brief, and now you suck the fun out of it. Sometimes people just suck the fun out of it. I'm like, I just want to have a good time. Yes. Then you.
I think we have time for 2, maybe 3 more questions.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
So long-term brand partnerships, I know you've been working with Farfetch for a while. So is that your ultimate goal, or how do you go about getting long-term brand partnerships?
That was a priority in what year we had? 2021. Okay. That was one of my priorities in 2021. Was that again? I was always really critical of like how many brands I work with, what the product is, right? I say no a lot. But then I was like, you know what? I really just want long-term partnerships, like period. Like if there's something new and it's a one-off, that's fine. But every time someone reaches out to me, how can we make this 3 months, 6 months? Because I also just find that the things I do share, people have follow-up. People want to know how it's going, how it's working. And I want to share more than once. And I feel like I should be compensated for that also. Even I don't care if I like it, I still should be compensated because it's still a job. So that was a priority, and it was a lot of, not outreach, but if someone reached out, that was the conversation. More than just like, here's a new product, we want one Instagram and one blah, blah, blah. How about we do X, Y, and Z, she can do this is the rate. We just find, and what's the value proposition, right? We just find that, you know, people are more bought in, whatever it is, they have like more of an affinity if they see her using more than once or throughout the year, whatever it is. So that was like a priority with Farfetch, with Bobbi Brown. There's some other brands that I literally worked with. ThreadUp, I work with them all year. There's a lot. Most of my partnerships, and that's also why you don't see them a lot, because then I can be more thoughtful with how I share, right? So for Bobbi Brown, sometimes there's a TikTok, sometimes, and every month is different. Sometimes it's a YouTube video, sometimes it's just stories. Sometimes, and then it's just the product changes, and then the platform changes, so then it doesn't feel, again, salesy, because I use it every day, but I can share it in different ways, I can share different products, and it's on different platforms, so you never feel inundated with the sales. So, and that was just for me to continue to share, because again, people will ask in 2 months, like, oh, do you still like that thing? I want to be able to say, yeah, I still like it, but also it just comes back up organically because we're working together throughout the year. But that was a very thoughtful decision, because I just, again, the long-term thing is that we can just build relationships with brands. I did something with Nexus where I worked with them for a year. All those things, it's easier, it's more thoughtful, and then you guys can ask questions and figure out if you really need it also. Like, so many people have been like, okay, this is the 6th month, I finally bought the Bobbi Brown thing, and I love it. Like, I know, it takes a while. Like, it's also some of the stuff is not cheap. So yes, if I'm telling you this, you know, face-based, it's $60. It took a long time for me to buy. When I saw other people using it, I would not do my makeup without it. But still, you probably need to see me do it a couple times to be like, okay, let me give it a try. Not just the first time. I'm like, it's worth it. Come on. It takes time, but it was a thoughtful decision. Okay. Last 2. 3. Yes, black and white. Yes, sorry, I have my glasses on.
Hi, so I know you kind of touched on it a little bit throughout, especially in monetization, but my question is, as someone who's just starting out, really looking forward to try to, you know, get to something, how do you start monetizing this? Like, I understand like putting out content, but just as something, where's the connect in that? How do I start actually monetizing it, or when would I want to start monetizing it? At what point does that start to happen?
I wouldn't be worried about monetizing, and I think that's probably the biggest, I don't want to call it an issue, but that shouldn't be the reason you're starting, or the reason that keeps you going, because it's never going to be enough. Again, like, you'll get to a point where you're getting offers, and it's still not enough if you don't enjoy it. No amount of money is worth like something that you don't like to do, or it's not fun to do, or it's not enjoyable to do. And again, you want people to want to stay. You want people to want to sign up. You want them to stick around. And if I feel like you're just selling to me the moment I meet you, every time I see you, I don't want to see that. And most people don't want to see that. So I would say you should be monetizing in a helpful way. And that's through reward style, or links, or magic links, or shop style links, or whatever. That's helpful. I don't do that a lot. Well, Maya does it now. And again, that's something I outsource, because I don't like doing links, even though it makes me money, because it's just tedious. But it's helpful, and that's why I want her to do it, because that you want to know where the shirt is from. And I'm like, I told you where the shirt is from, just go find it. You're like, I don't want to find it, I want you to give it to me. That is helpful, right? And you can still make money, and you can make good money. There's people that make tens of thousands of dollars every month from reward style, because you can also just have followers on that app if you're providing helpful content, right? If you do roundups all the time, you post frequently, that has nothing to do with social media. If I get on reward style, I'm there to shop. Right? I logged into the app, sell me something. That's what people are saying. I got on here, I want to buy something. And if you're always churning out things, that's where you can sell. And then obviously you can put that in your stories, you can put up a post and just talk to us normally, and also say, oh, and P.S., this outfit is in reward style. That's how you should. I would say not partnering with brands, not monetizing videos, just do links, because you can make a ton of money, but it's helpful and it's providing value, and it doesn't feel like icky. In the beginning, again, I don't like selling anything. I don't like selling at all. But is it helpful?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Yes.
How did you find the balance during the start of coronavirus and all of that in like pushing sales? I think for me as a plus size blogger, a lot of the brands are very much like fast fashion. And then at that time, people weren't going anywhere, right? And people were falling into over shopping as a way of coping with the pandemic. So how did you balance that in your business and like continuing on with that to get people to spend their money, but not necessarily overspend? Particularly for Black women, we know we have the power to spend, yes. But we also need to save in some ways. And how do you balance that save and shop kind of thing for women, particularly during this time?
Specifically during that time, I honestly didn't sell a lot of things and I didn't make a ton of money. So that's the other thing. It's like realizing the landscape you're in, and then how can you provide helpful content? And again, that's where my shift in my YouTube channel has went as well. I don't do hauls really at all anymore because I don't enjoy them. So in my mind, I'm my consumer. I'm my viewer. I watch YouTube, so that's like what I try to create. So I'm like, how can this be helpful? Always, how can it be helpful? But during like Corona, I didn't really make any type of content around selling something. I did a lot of, I started doing a lot of house content. I tried to do things that people asked. Like how to make this more comfortable when you bought a house. So then it was just a lot of home content, sharing the process, how to make a backyard nice, like stuff like that. But it wasn't really, I wasn't going anywhere either. So if it was something I bought, then it was probably sweatsuits. It was probably tennis shoes. It was new leggings. It was just what I'm wearing. It was active wear. I talked a lot about working out then and like sharing like the different platforms I used, what gym I'm going to, what's actually happening in life. But I did a lot less salesy outfit kind of things and roundups because nobody was going anywhere. But now, again, I don't really do hauls anymore. It's always like, how can I be helpful? How to wear color, how to stop wearing this, trends to try, how to thrift, those type of things. Is when I'm sharing fashion content, it's more around something helpful and something, I want to be your expert. That's my goal, not just anybody can take clothes out of a bag and try it on. Be like, yes, here's 20 things I got. You should go get them. I don't want to say I'm beyond that, but that's just not, it's not my passion. It doesn't get me excited. I don't want to just show a rack of clothes and be like, here's some cute stuff. You could have went on the website and saw that. Now what do we do? What do we do with it? I don't know. So, and then if I'm trying to work through something, how do I share that? So I started like how to wear color series because I wanted to wear color more. Look at me now. But it was something I'm struggling with, so then that's relatable, but we're learning together. Like, yes, I want to be the expert, but then sometimes I'm learning something too, but I can bring you along, and that's a fun journey too. It's not always just like, I'm telling you what to do, and just listen to me, because I said so. Here's what I'm trying. You may like it, you may not, but that's okay too. But I think we're going to continue to get out of the salesy era. So you've got to really figure out how you're going to help people and what type of value you're going to provide and what you're going to do to get them to stick around. Unless you want to just show your entire life and hope that they're just nosy enough, right? And that's not a goal for me, so how can I do something else? Did I answer the question?
Yeah. Follow-up question. Oh, what's the next level for monetization for you? Is it a course? Is it coaching? Like, what do you see is just beyond, this is my cute dress, you should buy it, or this is great makeup? What do you think is the next level of monetization for you?
For me, I'm not passionate about courses or it's not my thing. I love teaching and training. I always loved that when I was at Target, but I'd rather do that like this. I'd rather it just be authentic. We can just chit chat. I'll always do things like this. I don't want to sit and make an online thing. It's just not for me. I don't want to go speak at a bunch of different things. Again, it's just not for me. I want my own thing. I want a brand. I want to be creative. And that's coming. But that's the next thing. Yeah, I don't want to, I'll always probably do some form of like content creation because I love the creative part. But like, I'd love to be like a creative director one day. Like, I like the process of creating content. I love finding a theme, putting the outfit together. Where should we shoot it? What kind of lighting should we do? What should the filter be? What's the message? What do we say? I like that part. And then it's like, okay, I got to post it. That's part of the job too. But the other stuff is like my favorite part.